Oh, there you go. All right. Hey, glad you made it. All that. Really appreciate you being here. You know, you know the thing. Um, really wish I'd come on here and have some fun and joke around. That's not what this is going to be. It's probably going to be pretty fast. I just need to get. This is like an amendment to my last live stream. I'm gonna have to address something because it happened today. Uh, Thank you to the people who actually texted me to let me know what happened because I'm not subscribed to them anymore. Um, so David would like to see my wife hurt physically, probably, it looks like, in some kind of way. Today's the first day she's ever left the house with a gun on her. How about that? Now, Amber knows how to shoot it, and she's good with it. It's her gun, and just it's always here. Um, Now she's going to be carrying it because I think David would like to see Amber killed. I think that's probably what his end goal is. I was trying to put it together when I saw this one today. I was like, I guess he's retaliating for me talking about his boyfriend Robert having a job with the government, but the government is a public job. Hey, buds. Hey, Shanda. And you're working for us, and we pay tax dollars to you. I didn't even say where he worked either, but um, and I could be wrong, right? I mean, shit. Everything else I say is a lie, right, David? So also, Robert and or David told us 4 years ago. Robert kicked him out after I doxed him accidentally on a live stream. He got kicked out, and they were no longer together, and has claimed that ever since. And every time I challenge it, right, like so, he fires away at Amber. I fire back if I do. Usually, lately, the last year, I let him slide on two or three, and then I'll finally fire back. But so the thing he posted today, he's essentially saying that I started this, but I didn't. Again, if Robert does work for that government agency, it's a government agency. He's a public servant. We pay the taxes, pay his salary. Amber works for a private enterprise. She doesn't serve you, so it's a little different. It's a lot different. Um, Amber worked really hard to get not only clean and sober, and now 2.5 years clean and sober. Also, she wanted to change her life. Like this is something she'd always worked as a bartender when she worked. You know, um, After college, she bartended on a cruise ship around the world, and probably her favorite. Probably when she fell in love with bartending was on that, doing that job, and so it would be the thing she did, and she worked at pretty popular bars like at Myrtle Beach. She managed like the very busiest bar at Myrtle Beach. It was always what she did if she did anything. And then with us, I ran the business, and she stayed at home and took care of Dempsey, and she set the schedule, took the calls, and all that kind of stuff for me. And when we got over to here and had to start taking care of her mom, things changed. First of all, her attitude just overall had changed after the attack in 2017 on her. And then she had a surgery to an ACL and MCL surgery, or no, ACL and meniscus surgery. And so she fell into sort of a depression, I would say, to characterize it. And she started drinking real heavily. And part of her triggering was having to take care of her mom. And it just broke her heart to see her mom like this after losing her dad, in 2005 when she was only 25. It was just hard on her. And so after she got a year of sobriety, she wanted to work. She wanted to take this job. We talked about it. I would be the main caretaker of her mom and, of course, Dempsey. And I'll continue to do dryer events, but I'll stop doing my part-time job and she'll take over a full-time job. And I was working, when I say part-time, it was just because I wasn't working 40 hours a week. I was working 32 hours. So we talked about it, and that's what she wanted to do. I thought, it seemed like she was trying to say without saying that it's tough on her sobriety. Got to take care of her mom and be the homemaker and be the, stay-at-home mom all of the time. She wanted to, test herself at this job, and she thought she could do it. She thought it'd be fun. She loves it, and they love her. And again, it's a private company. And she was attacked in 2017 by her boss and by the bar manager. But David always only tells half the story. So he's fixated on the African-American gentleman, and there was an African-American gentleman and a white guy. So it was both. And he never talks about that guy. But he has posted pictures of one of the men who attacked her on his community page over and over and over again in the last couple of months. And it's just like, because she dared to tell her story in late 2018 on a YouTube page, mine. She dared to tell that story. And since she dared to tell that story, of course, people get to have their own opinion and whatever. And they did. But David has targeted her for 4 years, as if he's here to make up in the amount of pain he can cause, make up in how much he can make this particular incident in her life hurt her. Like, because it's, there's no use in healing when you got Dave around, Dave Knaggs. He, for whatever reason, wants my wife to live miserably. She already has horrifying nightmares from this shit that were so bad. The other night, her mother woke up and went out into the room and woke Amber up. I didn't even hear her. I was in the living room, didn't even hear her. Her mother heard her from one room to the next to shake her out of it, man. She was sweating profusely. She has horrible nightmares from this one incident. Aside from her dad dying, I think she would, and I think she would tell you it's even more scarier being in that position than when the next door neighbor shot, in her direction. Even immediately when she didn't know if he was really shooting at her or he was just shooting in her direction, that fear was not as much as the fear of, oh my God, they're going to take me, kidnap me, rape me, and murder me. When that goes through your head, it's a hard place to come back from emotionally, even if you survive it. I wouldn't know because I've never been put in that position. I've had a gun pulled on me a couple of times, and both times I felt this sinking feeling in my stomach, like this is the end. And it's a real horrifying fear. But there's also some sort of like acceptance to it, right? Like, I guess if I give you this ring and give you this jacket and give you my wallet, maybe there's a chance you'll let me run. All the while you're looking at that gun going, just one fucking shot from that thing and I'm dead. The first time I got robbed, I was 19, maybe. I think 19, 18. And hell, I might have even been 17. We had just gotten our first apartment, me and my first wife, my girlfriend at the time. And I got robbed at gunpoint right in front of it. And the window was open upstairs where she was. She could have heard me had I made a noise, but I just was too afraid. So I know that fear. I can relate to the fear part, but I don't know that fear. So anyway, that's going to go on forever anyway. The healing part comes from accepting that she survived it and looking at it from it, they attempted and she fought them off and she won, instead of looking at it from, how dare they put their hands on my wife or even think they could do that. Because that was what my own struggle was. Because when that happens, it affects the whole family deeply. And it just destroys your trust in people. Anyway, David has taken that mantle and been like, hey, this would be a great way to hurt that woman. every chance I get. And that's what he's done. He has nothing he says hurts me. I'm not on here trying to look pretty for y'all. I'm not on here trying to attract anyone. I've made it. I'm up there. I've pinnacleized myself. I have procreated. I've put 4 children on this planet at least. And I have been married twice now. I've done what I had to do. Raised a total of 6 children since I've been an adult, and not to mention taking care of all of my younger brothers and sisters growing up with a single mom and an abusive dad who went to prison for manslaughter. So I'm pretty fucking set. You're not gonna shake me. She's not from the same side of the tracks as me. That's a good woman. That's a good person. She don't fight people. She don't hurt people. She's never set out to hurt anybody. She only wanted to get along. She does not take the critique well because she's never been critiqued like that face to face. People just like Amber. You know, they don't dislike her because of me in real life. That doesn't happen. So this is a whole new world for her. She's left the YouTube environment. The only person she watches in our community is me. And I'm rarely going live. She likes the crime solving people on YouTube. She watches those people. So she just really isn't into true crime. That's what she's into. She's not into us. And thank God. But that the other day or last month or whenever it was, when David Matthew Knaggs posted a picture of one of her attackers, it did come up on her feed. So like as she was scrolling, there she sees one of the guys who tried to rape her. And that's a nice added touch. Like, I'm not sure, David, what are you and Robert, what would make you 2 old white men real happy? What would be the greatest solution for you 2 old, crusty, white, privileged men? What would be great for you 2 stemming from your attacks on my wife? Basic Bob, Slap City News, I'm talking to you. What do you want? What do you want from your creations, your attacks on my wife? What would you like to happen? Would it be great for you if the people who tried to attack her before went to her work and caught her when I'm nowhere around to do anything to help her? Would that be great? Is that what you're after? Or do you just want some rando who follows you, who looks up to you, or you know what I mean, figuratively, because no one looks up to you, but looks down at you thinking you're on some mantelpiece because they love you on some YouTubes? Would you want some crazy wacko to be the one who goes and does it? I'm just interested in what you 2 crusty old white fucking have everything you want motherfuckers want by attacking my wife. Just curious. Maybe if you would tell me, we could make the arrangements. We could, whatever it is you want, because you get what you want, right? Doesn't matter that he works for the government and is paid by our taxes. That don't matter. We have no right. We also didn't say what agency he worked at. You're apparently not even with him anymore. So what do you even bother by it for? And he works for the government, and we have a right to know that. You have a right to know who's taking your tax money in exchange to serve you. That's just how that works. That's just how that works. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. But is it really truly because if they found out, they'd fire him? Because that's just not, the government can't do that. You guys are protected. You're allowed to love the person you want. Which, doesn't that bring us full circle? I mean, doesn't it? Yeah, you're allowed to love whomever you like. And we've provided safety nets for that now in this country. So if Robert, Basic Bob, was to get fired because he's in a relationship with David, he could sue the pants off of them, off of the government. And they'd be millionaires. They could go to Egypt every week if they wanted to, and not for business this time. And otherwise, man, tell me I'm right without telling me I'm right, David. Please figure out another way to say, God, you sure hit that on the fucking head, without actually saying it. Because, man, if any of you missed it, it's in my last live stream. Apparently, I nailed every single point. And I didn't start this, foo. You started this, foo, by pretending to be my fucking friend, backstabbing me, and going after my wife so you could try to clear the name of a fucking child molester. You sick fuck. You went after an innocent woman, called her every fucking name in the book, decided that she was some kind of whore, right? And every day, Ambergate, Ambergate 2, Ambergate 3, every day. The week before, you were my fucking buddy. Now, every day, Ambergate this, Ambergate that. And in the end, this is David's reasoning. He said it was to get attention to his channel so he could announce to the world that Mike Dibble is innocent. A child molester. Is it because Robert wanted said child molester to come to Michigan and hang out with you boys? And you could play fucking sword fights all day? Is because that, we all know, everybody knows, right? David, you don't work, you don't do anything. You get in motorcycles that are still in the same garage that you were rolling around in that blue ball on when you first started YouTube. And I can prove it, sure. But you've already done it for me. You see, when you get upset that I mentioned Robert and say that you're still living with him, he's your boyfriend, he takes care of you, he's your sugar daddy, all these true facts, when it gets you so upset that you want to try to get my wife harmed, you're telling me I'm right without telling me I'm right. So that's all I want to know, man. What would you two fucks like for to happen to Amber? What would you love to happen to Amber? All right. And thusly happen to myself, her baby boy, and her mom, because whatever happens to her is going to happen to us as well. So, what would be the game plan? Let me know, and we'll see about if we can maybe just arrange that for you. We'll at least just fake it, and we'll take pictures of the fake thing you want to happen to her, and you guys can jack off to it together. Just want to know. Because you're obsessed with my wife, David. You've been obsessed with my wife for 4 years. And it's high time other people start fucking letting you know about it. How sick your brain is. Your family thinks so. They've told me as much. You, what? I don't know much about the Muslim community. I do know that, especially here in America, they really do seem to be about peace, love, and, trying to better the world around them. In what way are you doing that, David? It just seems to me that all you want to do is get into squabbles and fights and terrorize people who have been victims in the past of things. And that's because at your core, you're a criminal. I mean, you've told us as much, right? Hard to kill. At your core, you're a criminal. You're just a criminal, right? You didn't come up out the mud. Robert's hovering you above the mud. He's holding you up just above the mud, keeping you in check. And I know he must fucking hate this shit. He's got to hate this shit. Hey, Robert, call off your fucking pug and maybe it won't continue. This is going to get solved, David. We're going to get to where somebody's going to get hurt. And then there'll be, because of that, there'll be consequences to other folks. So stand back and stand by and go re-victimize your family some more. Why don't you try that? Why don't you go re-victimize your family? Quit re-victimizing mine, homie. Now, on to one more little matter of business real quick. I saw that I didn't watch a video, Jesse. I saw that you responded to me and that I should take my own advice. And yeah, I left it alone for months, man. I just saw people getting attacked, and I thought I could give my opinion since everybody else has. You haven't asked anyone over there to stop, so you could, and it would probably have an effect. But it occurred to me, like, hold on a second while the emergency happens. Socialism. Anyway, it occurred to me that it's not any of your business either. They're together. Those two. That's it's not my business. It's not your business, really. So I don't want to fight with you, little girl. You do you. I just was saying that it's quite a shame all these single people trying to tell couples how they need to live. Anyway, I just wanted to get that out. I wanted to make sure that I got this down without making any silly videos about it. I wanted to be straightforward to the earballs of the people who are trying to re-victimize my wife. It's Robert and David Knaggs, and Robert Zarza. Come up with your demands, old men, and see what we can do about having you get your way as usual. Okay? Until then, toodaloo, bitch.